Witamy widzów kanału Spożywcze TV, portalu hurtidetal.pl oraz agronomist.pl. To jest program Gabinet Spożywczy, a jego i Państwa gościem jest pan Enrico Bottero, dyrektor generalny firmy Ferrero Polska. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Rozmowę poprowadzą Michał Siwek, dyrektor Biura Dekarbonizacji Bioróżnorodności w BNP Paribas Bank Polska.
Dzień dobry Państwu.
I Wojciech Szeląg. Ferrero is global, family-owned company, well known in Poland with 30 years of experience here in our market. What were the key moments of your history here in Poland, and how do you assess the development of the company here in our market?
We have a great success, I have to say. I think that is more than 32 years now from the starting of the commercial activity. And I think in 1997, the key point was the starting of the production. Now, Belsku Dużym, where is our factory, that has grown year by year. Today is the third biggest factory in the world. Last year, we were producing more than 200,000 tons of product and close to 80% for the export. So we have a great success in local production, in local business, but also very well appreciated product that go everywhere in the world. So we are super happy of this result, and this is why we consider Poland like our second home after so many years, and so big success.
Your personal history is also connected with Poland.
Yes, I think that is already 14 years that I'm here in Poland. I think that is one of my longest assignment, because I'm in the Ferrero Group from 40 years. But today Poland is, let's say, the longest assignment, and I'm super happy because I think that we have a great success, great support, a great team. So really happy.
So it's also your success.
Thank you.
And having been so long to Poland, you have seen also the development of the market. From the perspective of the preferences of the Polish consumers, what kind of trends have you observed during your assignment here in Poland?
I think that is really the market is very challenging, because I think that is one of the market where there are a lot of international brand, a lot of strong local producer. Also in terms of distribution, is one of the country where you can find distribution from local retailers, from German retailer, French retailer, Spanish, Portuguese retailer. So I think that is a very challenging market. In terms of all this year, I think that there was the consumer has grow the expectation. I think that the quality is now becoming more and more important for the Polish consumer. Of course, I think that the Polish consumer is very attractive by new things, and I think that is one of the characteristics that immediately, when there are the novelties, these immediately, let's say, have a success. On the other side, I think another specific things that we have seen, for example, in the last years, in a lot of markets, the private labor, maybe they have a boom. In Poland, the private labor are important, but not so strong, maybe like in other European market. I think that the Polish consumer is also very attached to the brands. So they like the brand, especially I think that if the brand that they know and they guarantee the quality.
So if I can, let's say, follow up this question, yeah. For example, premium product, let's say, sugar-reduced lines, functional products, do you see such a trends? Because we talk on yes. this format. In this program, we talk to also different leaders of the confectionery business, and sometimes they bring those preferences of our consumers to the discussion. And do you also confirm such a development? There
is a development. I think that in the last years maybe was very, very strong. I think that probably now we start to see a little bit a level of stabilization. But of course, the consumer is interested. You know, like chocolate and sweet producer, I think that also in Ferrero we have a long discussion regarding this. On the other side, I think that what for us is important is that we give also pleasure. And I think that sometimes we need to find the right balance if it's reasonable to start to have a product that we don't want to become a company like, for example, is doing product dietetic. Because this is not our DNA. This is not why the consumer want to find the Ferrero product. But of course, I think that there is a natural trend of the market, and I think that now, I think that in the future we have some plan of development also to meet this expectation from the consumer, from the Polish consumer, European consumer in reality, because I think that is a trend that is evolving everywhere a little bit.
So let's go deeper into details of your products. Let me ask you if Polish consumers are somehow different than Germans, French, Italian. Do they prefer other products of Ferrero or the same? How do you assess it?
I would say that there are, in Europe, I would say that we have some brands that are totally recognizable and so successful, like, for example, I don't know, Nutella, Kinder Bueno, Kinder Surprise, there's some Kinder product, Kinder Chocolate. They are products that are accepted everywhere in Europe with a big success. Then we have some specificity. For example, Raffaello, this was a product that is produced in Poland, and it was an enormous success in the north of Europe. Germany, Poland, let's say all the central and eastern country as a fantastic success of Raffaello. In the south of Europe, for example, this Raffaello has much more difficulties to become a big brand. We were studying many times, you know, somehow it was surprising that the cocoa flavor almond, that maybe it's more linked to the south of a Mediterranean world, in reality has a bigger success in the north. But in general, I would say there are 80% of the brand, they are quite at the European, and I think that also now the young population, the fact that the people are traveling much more, there is a consistency of acceptance of some brand. Some specificity. In Italy, for example, we have some chocolate with coffee, what we call pocket coffee. This is a typical Italian. For example, this is a big success in Italy, but not really out of Europe. There are some specific brands that they had some success local, and we call this product local jewels, because they are very localized, but we were not able maybe to develop at European level.
Let's change a little bit the topic. Let's move to the market circumstances. We see the inflation, we see the rising raw materials prices. How do you, it's a big challenge for the food industry sector. How do you cope with this issue? And firstly, and then secondly, how it is affecting your pricing strategy?
You know, the last years in terms after, let's say after the COVID, after the war in Ukraine, let's say the big increase of raw material that happened in the last 2-3 years, the supply chain also that is sometimes disrupted due to different things, the war, sometimes also difficulties to pass from. Remember that few months ago there was this Suez problem, and so a lot of raw material were not able to travel. I think that this is really a challenge for all the companies now, because we need to adapt our price policy with a speculation that sometimes are so high in comparison with the past 30 years. We have to increase the price, yes. We try not to penalize too much the consumer, but it's true that now what we are also working is to try to de-risk a little bit with some raw material. For example, the Ferrero Group has decided in the last year to invest also more in different categories that are not only pure chocolate, for example, biscuit, ice cream, exactly to escape a little bit from the potential risk of whatever is happening, speculation, and maybe to depend from raw material that sometimes not only for the speculation but also for the climate change and also from the political situation can be under risk.
Let's talk about distribution channels. Of course, you have you can choose between traditional and e-commerce and all between.
Yeah.
What about Ferrero in Poland? How much are you connected? How strongly are you are connected with traditional channels, and what are your expectations about e-commerce, especially for future?
Yeah. Our traditional channel was really our strong pillar of development. I think that we had a very strong cooperation with all the retailer. I would say very good implementation in the shop. I think that one of the skill of our Ferrero marketing way and also sales force was to have a very strong implementation in the shop. And I think that we want to continue this because anyhow the consumer continue to go a lot in the shop. I think that Poland is one of the countries with the highest frequency per week in the shopping. And that is, I think, mainly there are consumers that they go if not every day, every second day to the shop. I think that is a percentage that in some countries is absolutely impossible. So we need to be very present in the shop, but we need to be, now we are looking for the e-commerce. The e-commerce is of course, we need to develop. We are at the beginning. I have to say that in Ferrero we were waiting a little bit to understand the real potential of the food and the confectionery on this market. We see that it's growing. It's not growing maybe with incredible percentage, but we need to be there. We are starting. For us, it was important also to start the e-commerce in the right way, able to guarantee quality to the consumer. Because I think that for us it's super important that even when you order some chocolate, you will receive in the perfect condition. And this was, I think that the quality was always one of the key points for Ferrero to winning in the market. And we were recognized also in Poland like premium product, but with high quality from the consumer side. So this is why we are starting. This year will be the first step. And I think that we have a plan for the future, but I think that we will follow this. There are also because we saw also on the market that there were a lot of offers of our product, and we would like to guarantee in reality to the consumer that they can buy from Ferrero with the right quality.
But what is your experience about the quality when the product reaches consumer? Is it a problem for your brand, for the branch in Poland?
We want to be sure that if, for example, for the e-commerce, the issue is we need to be sure that when you order this product, we need to be that the whole, for example, quality chain has respect.
Yeah.
From the warehouse to the reseller to the delivery point, warehousing system, delivery system, how long the product will stay before that you receive the product, is delivered directly to your home or you go to the parcel. This is why we were investigating very well to see how much we can decrease this time, and we want to be sure that when the consumer gets is exactly the same quality that we would like that he receive. We would like also that in the e-commerce we are also thinking to some SKU that are not always available on the market, so that you can get something special, and especially if you want to get something special, it must be top.
Let's come back a little bit more to Polish consumer. Do you see any peculiarity of this consumer, firstly, and secondly, consequently, do you plan any new product launches purely dedicated to the local Polish consumer?
The Polish consumer is, as I was saying, is very attracted by novelty. So we see that immediately they are very open to try something. For example, is one of the only market in Europe where everything is sold at single unit. So because also the pick and mix of different category, I think that is another of the characteristic of the Polish consumer. When we have European meetings, sometimes we saw a market where they sell big multi-packs. This is typical of maybe France, maybe still a little bit in Italy. In Polish market, a big multi-pack with a lot of pieces is not really interesting for the consumer. So this is really a peculiarity. So this is why we were preparing also for introducing the product on the Polish market, specific SKU, because it has to meet the expectation of the Polish consumer. To talk about specific brand or specific product, not really, because I think that today our strategy, at least at European level, is to see if we can develop products that they can be developed, they can be distributed in all Europe, let's say maybe in different timing, but not changing the recipe from one country to the other.
We have already mentioned that your production plant in Belsku Dużym is, if I can remember, the third one around the globe. Yeah. What about Poland as such in your company's strategy? How much of the production from Belsk stays in Poland, and what part goes to the world?
In Poland, stay more or less 20% of the production. 80% go in more than 100 countries around the world. I think that this is why I was saying that the factory here in Poland is, in terms of really of capacity of production, is the third in the Ferrero Group. And maybe in terms of number of country and number of SKU that are delivered to different countries, probably one of the first or the second in terms of complexity. I think that this was also due to big investment that they were done. I think that we have also a very high quality of colleagues working there. I think that today, let's say in terms of technology also apply, the Poland factory is probably one of the best, if not the best in the Ferrero Group.
Most modern?
Sorry?
Most modern?
Yes, most modern, and also in terms of really technology, automatization. And just to tell you, I feel that sometimes we are very proud when there are new investment around the world or maybe some new line that are invested in other country. More often we have a Polish engineer that from our factory they go to other production location to see and to prepare project together. This I think that is also recognized of the great job that was done in terms of really of quality, not only of production, but really also how the talking about capacity, production, electricity saving, security, safety and security. I think that we are really in the top of the factories on the Ferrero Group.
Now let's talk a little bit about sustainability and the climate change. You already mentioned that you make some steps because of the climate risk, and if you can share with us what kind of steps do you take in terms of sustainability transition and climate change adaptation. You do a lot.
Yes.
However, if you can share with us,
I think that
let's say, project which are the most proud of.
But we are working on different, let's say, on different sectors. Of course, from the raw material. For example, one of the argument that is always very linked to Ferrero is the usage of the palm oil. We are using 100% of certified palm oil. That means that we want to use the palm oil, but without having deforestation and something. And I think that we are very active also in the palm oil association, to show that it's possible to use the palm oil in the sustainable way. This is for the raw material. We have also project for the cocoa, for the hazelnut. Then we are working on packaging. For example, Ferrero Rocher, I think that Ferrero Rocher, Ferrero Collection, I think that these are packaging that we are changing all the plastic. These are huge investment also in terms of production capability, but we are substituting all the plastic to go to reusable, to reach the level of 100% of reusable plastic. And also we are working on the single packaging of the product to reduce as much as possible the plastic, or at least to have more and more reusable packaging or cartons. And then in the factory side, I think that we are working on 3 pillars: reducing the waste, because I think that this is also super important to reduce the waste, and maybe in the future, and this is a project that is coming, to regenerate, to use the waste also like regenerate energy that we can use again in the factory. We have made huge investment in terms of solar panel industry production in our factory. This is also is just the beginning, because I think that our factory is also using quite a lot of energy, because we have oven and frigos, and I think that these are really using a lot of electricity and gas. So we are working a lot on this electronic cogeneration of electricity, and we have planned to develop this in the future. We are also using more liquid gas. This was also a need, unfortunately, here in Poland due to the situation of the war. There was a moment in which we were afraid that maybe there will be not enough sovereign. So we have created also a, let's say, a liquid gas plant, so that we can use the liquid gas that is coming and we can use in our factory. Of course, all of this is a question of optimization, to try now to find the way how we can, with the solar, with these cogeneration tools, to reduce, let's say, the peak of energy, or at least to cover the peak of the energy that we have doing in a factory that somehow don't stop the production, because many times we produce 24/7. It's a long process. Now I think that we have also we have installation for the trucks to have electric in the factory, so that they can connect to electric power generation. This is a process that we will continue to expand also in the future, because of course we are responsible like being producing, but also we need to be responsible like any other company, I think.
My next question was about your plans related to Poland, including investment very often is related with the sustainability. So you partially answered, let's say, the question.
Yes.
However, if you can deep dive, what are your plans towards Poland? You also, by the way, mentioned that you produce 24/7. So
yes.
that means probably you are very much using your production capacity.
Your capacity.
So what are your plans?
There are also plans to expand our production. I think that Poland is still a very important, has still a potential to grow here, let's say in terms of space in the factory, but also in terms of quality of production. I think that we were pleased that we have a visit of our executive president few weeks ago. There are projects to expand maybe the production. They will be approved, we hope, during this year. It's true that now the situation, the political situation around, let's say, is a little bit complicated to see what is happening, because I think that in the last weeks it's very difficult to see which could be the future of production and which country, because as you were saying, normally Poland produces part for the local market, but then part for the let's say for the export.
Also for the USA?
Yes, and I think that this is, for example, I make an example, all the Kinder Bueno, when it was launched in the USA, was produced before in Poland, and now there is a production from 18 months ago, started the production in USA, but before everything was produced in Poland. I think that now we are a little bit rediscussing some evolution, but I think that the investment will be done, maybe in a different, with some different ideas. And when we prepare a new investment, we need to absolutely to be sure that we are able to develop this involvement in a sustainable way. So today our production is not only to say, okay, we put one production side more, one line more, but how to create immediately the energy that can support this. So, for example, if we create a new part of the factory, we need to have a second production of electricity from the solar panel to increase our capacity, exactly to try to become, let's say, our aim would be, it's not a very short term, but in medium long term, to become independent in terms of production capacity. Yes.
Our last question is about Mr. Enrico Bottero. 40 years together, more than 40 years together with Ferrero, is a long time enough to discover what is your personally most favorite product you can recommend to Polish customers. Maybe there is one or two we underestimate here in Poland, and you would like to change our minds about them.
But you know, it's a very difficult question because I think that also during, let's say, these 40 years, sometimes you change a little bit your taste. I know that, for example, the product like Raffaello is very appreciating in Poland. And I have to tell you that when Raffaello, we started to work on Raffaello, I was not so sure that at the end it will be so big, but now it's also one of my preferred brands, and so I'm eating quite often, especially in the summer. Sometimes I put them in the frigo, and they're very, very good. Nutella, of course, you know, I'm Italian, I was growing with the Nutella, and I think that the Nutella is really part of our, let's say, of our diet.
No changes.
I still eat Nutella sometimes in the breakfast after so many years, and I really like. And I feel that now we have this Nutella biscuit, we are bringing the Nutella under different things that are also very, very good. Personally, I think that this year we have launched one of the products that maybe today is not yet a big success in Poland because it's just new. Is the Kinder Paradiso. Is a fresh cake that we put in the frigo, no, in the chill cabinet. And believe me, for some time when it was not available in Poland, when I was going in Italy, sometime I was buying by myself because I wanted to try. It's really something that I like without the chocolate, but it looks, it's very, is remembering a typical Italian product that is the Torta Paradiso. This is why the name is the Paradiso. No? One of my preferred one is one of the oldest product of Ferrero, that is Moncherie. Moncherie is a product that maybe you start to appreciate him over 30, a little bit. The young generation maybe are not too much on Moncherie, but the Moncherie, when it's just fresh, arriving in September, we do a break in the summer production, and then you put the Moncherie in the frigo and you try this chocolate. Is fantastic. It's still probably one of my best one, and is one of the oldest product of Ferrero, the market.
I've got the good news for you. Yesterday I had a box of Moncherie at home, and my sons are under 30 years. Yeah. It disappeared immediately.
Very good.
I had a problem to taste one because they were too quick.
They were too quick.
I recognized it also at my case, at my home. My daughters are also much below 30, and they manage very well to disappear, to make them disappear.
Very good.
So you can see the next generation is a good place for you to continue your business.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Grazie mille.
Grazie, thank you for your invitation.
Naszym gościem był pan Enrico Bottero, dyrektor generalny Ferrero Polska. Rozmawiali Michał Siwek
Dziękuję.
i Wojciech Szeląg. Kłaniamy się nisko, do zobaczenia.